Welcome back to 4 a.m. Network. Hakim here. That's Nick. And this is Mine is Better. This has been a pretty good, very fun. No. This has been a great series so far. I've had a lot of fun shooting this.
Yeah, I agree. Brought out our inner asshole. Definitely. I will say that. We definitely live by our name getting through these for sure. And it's going to continue here right now.
It's been glorious.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for everybody that has been tuning in. Please tell everybody. Tell everybody. You know
All
what I
the
mean?
bodies.
And this one about NFL versus NBA.
Sir, Chi-Town, baby. Doubles.
And man,
It's an easy one and a hard one at the same time. I want to say it's hard, but then at the same time it's not. If I had to pick one, I'm watching NBA the rest of my life over NFL.
Once upon a time, I would have been with you. As much as I've always loved the NFL, once upon a time, I would have been with you. I ate, slept, drank, shat NBA.
I don't blame you. It's got to be rough being a Knicks fan throughout your entire lifetime.
Oh, that ended a long time ago. That ended before I even stopped watching the NFL. The NBA. I denounced the Knicks a long time ago. I remember when and why.
I was like, my team might have been a reason of your hatred of the Knicks because my team shit even all over the Knicks every time they had a chance to.
It was all Latrell Sprewell. I mean, there was a lot of things piling up leading up to the moment that he didn't draw the foul, thought he could be superstar, ran out to the baseline with no time and take a shot. That he even airballed on top of fucking the whole thing up for the series. He had three people cover him under the hoop. All he had to do was go for a layup. He's getting the foul. He goes to the line. We win. And we would have broken that curse and we would have done better since then. Maybe not all the time, sure, but we'd have done way better since then. But that one thing right there on top of their monstrous mound of bullshit leading up was when I denounced the Knicks. But the end of the NBA, I let it go because I've watched some recently, and I will say it is more enjoyable now from when I stopped. But I stopped because these guys get paid too much to be treated like a bunch of sissies.
It's okay. Before that argument's not there. The NFL soft as baby shit nowadays too. You can hardly do anything. They both got soft. One definitely is not soft because it involves fucking demolishing each other and getting CTE. So
I mean, but CTE aside, asshole. CTE aside, it's entertaining as fuck.
I love the NFL. The year that my team made it to the Super Bowl since I've been alive was fucking fantastic. But watching my NBA team actually win it and win it multiple times and have the greatest player ever to play the game, play for them.
So
might be why I'm biased.
So the reason why you enjoy the NBA more than the NFL is not because the NBA is better than the NFL. It's just because you had nothing to relish on.
No, I do think the NBA is definitely better than the NFL. I don't want my son playing football. First of all, that's like one of the things. There's like not contact football, at least. Definitely like the NBA better. It's definitely a sport that I enjoy more. It's an easier sport to play no matter what. You just need yourself, a ball, and a circle, essentially. Like you can play it a lot more accessibly than you can football. You can't play football without at least one other person. And then you're just playing catch, really. So,
I mean, you're not really playing basketball.
But when in the term,
just you're just
shooting around.
You're just practicing.
You're doing free throws.
You're just shooting.
Trying not to practicing. Trying not to shack the fool.
You're balling, but when you got at least one other person.
Let's go.
So I'll give you that. With one other person, you can play basketball as a competitive sport. And with football, just one
multiple.
other person. I mean, you still could. It's kind of like a one-on-one kill the carrier. So in a sense, but you're not playing it in the sense of where you got your different weapons and actually playing it as a team sport, which is what it really is. It's a team sport. Basketball doesn't have to be a team sport. So I'll give you that. And in that sense, if it came down to are those the main points, then I would have to agree that it's better for that factor. But that's not the only thing. I'm just saying NFL is just it's more exciting. It's not even just the contact. The contact is what gives it explosiveness in terms of that savage feeling you get inside when you want to see something. That's why you will watch MMA,
Neanderthal.
boxing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boxing's great.
The naturalistic, yeah.
But if you're looking for that, but then when you talk about team sports, I mean, if you play basketball, sure, you understand what it takes to run with a smooth team that actually performs. I'm not going to take that away. And if you watch basketball long enough, you can get a sense of it. But there's way more people who watch it long enough to get a sense of it than there are the people who understand it from experience.
True. I do.
The NFL, you don't have to play it to be able to see the intricacies that's necessary to make a surviving, strong, competitive Goliath team be those things.
Yeah.
You can watch it and see it. And the more you watch it, you understand it more. But you can see it from the very first time you watch it, even if you don't know a thing about how it all works.
I got to disagree on both of those points, though, because one, I think the NBA is much more exciting overall than the NFL. The NFL, and then two, I think it's much easier to pick up basketball and watch. You don't need to know the sport to watch somebody cross somebody over and fall on their ass and slam the ball into
How often are people getting crossed over?
A lot. Come on, hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back to my first point. I definitely think basketball is way more enjoyable and fun to watch. The games mean more when they don't mean anything. Even though there's less NFL games, so it's a big argument for people. There's less games, so the games mean more. Blah blah blah. No, after a few weeks, depending on the division that your team's in, some of those games can be very shitty, very fast, mean nothing. Now we're about to be into playoff season. Just got done with football and all that. NFL's done. Super Bowl's over. The team that you thought was going to win it won it. Now we're in not NBA, but basketball season, March Madness. None of the teams you expect to win it are in it. Basketball's about to start. It's going to be the same deal. There's expected teams to win it. I don't think the expected are going to win it. And man, nothing beats playoff basketball, dude. Especially just when your team's in it, especially. But either way, I love watching playoff basketball regardless. It's hard for me to get involved in the NFL when my team's not in it because it's much more of it's just, I think because of how quick the season is, the turnaround and things like that, you get uninvested fast. I'm a big fantasy football guy. You get so invested in other things. Whereas with the NBA, I just love watching basketball. I'm a fan of the game.
I've never heard you speak as much about NBA fantasy as much as NFL fantasy.
I don't play NBA fantasy because it involves more. It just involves too much because there's too many games. You can set your lineup on one day and then be fine. Like you can literally go on Thursday morning, set your lineup, you're good. That's not how NBA basketball works. Even with me,
it doesn't
watching.
Sound fun doing it for NBA.
Not for fantasy, but that's not the discussion. Like
you're just talking about the things that one sport brings.
I'm telling you why the only reason I'm involved and will watch football is because of a third party thing. Whereas the NBA, I will watch solely for the NBA, the playoff picture, who's going to get in it, and things like that. The NFL, my team doesn't get in there or have a chance. I'm not that invested.
You have a season like the one that just ended 2022 going into 23. I think everything you just mentioned is those seasons are the ones that kind of negate that because you get those matches of teams fighting to get positions that you would have thought they would have been locked in for.
Yeah.
And that's when you get that same effect that you just mentioned. Now, granted, that's not every year, but all the years leading up to this year that just ended, from at least 5 years back, we've seen that happen more and more every year. We see the the Goliath not be the Goliath and things of that nature.
Yeah, but the NFL more so than not, you like the teams that you think are gonna win, which can take away from it. But I will say the new playoff format is nice. I do like the NBA, the play-in feature. More teams have a chance. I think it does more. You never know what kind of a run somebody's go on. The NBA, the bubbles, playoff series shows that's where the Suns love came from. But for like on a national level.
I think that's what I was saying. I think that argument negates each other for both sides. I didn't make that clear.
Fine.
And the reason why is because for how long did you know the Bulls were going to win and they won? And then after that, you name it, right? It's the Spurs.
They would have won 8 in a row if he didn't retire, You know what I mean? Consensus.
So you start going and talk about the Warriors, the Lakers. There was a period of time that lasted 3 years or more where you knew one team was going to take it, and they did that. And then those sections were back to back. So
in between
the last 5 years, you knew, after this season, we know who's going to win the next 5 years, and then we know who's going to win it. You know what I mean? So
it wasn't fun watching the Patriots dominate. It was fun watching not the Lakers dominate, but like when the Mavs come through and finally win, and when like the one-off team wins, when Boston comes through, it just fucking travels through, and KG and all them, and they win their title. There's some very, very memorable. But on the same hand, your G-men in the NFL have some of the most memorable Super Bowls, but they're getting older and older, those ones. But that was definitely like, that's up there. It's always fun to watch the underdog go down, the unexpected, all of the fun things.
If you remove that element,
I think as a whole, you remove that element, I still go with the NBA personally.
And I would go with the NFL. And I grew up playing ball. When I said I ate, slept, all that was me balling every day for hours.
I grew up a huge baseball fan. Like, if anything, that was me with baseball. I love basketball.
That was my first sport. But I'll tell you this. There are more basketball games that fall into that boring baseball game, because there's a lot of boring baseball games.
Yeah.
There's more basketball games that fall into that. Now, granted, it's going to be they both have more games per season than NFL, and that's the edge the NFL would have, is that it's limited.
They think it's easier to give up. That's my other end. Is like a lot of those games turn into bullshit games because one of the teams has given up 3 weeks prior because they've been done. That's the one thing I don't like, because it's so quick that will happen.
At one point.
It's getting to that point
window,
again.
But I mean, it's at the point now. Look at a
lot of bad teams. The Bears got I'm just gonna say, go back and see how the Bears got the number 1 pick. How that team had to.
I know.
Like what they like. How the one team that had to win, what they had to do to win, and what that other team had to give up. There's some bad football teams right now.
I'm not going to argue against that.
Some very bad NBA teams. There's some bad NBA teams.
But what I was saying is, like,
there's some bad NBA
with the
teams.
NFL being a limited amount of time throughout the year, like you mentioned, having less games, it gives them the ability to excite, even with some of those bad games.
Knock the team out of the playoffs. You're a shitty team. Yeah.
Wild card, get in there and get crazy. Or even just making highlights, a bad team versus a better team, making highlights that are more exciting than some of these other sports, and in this particular case, NBA. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm okay with that. Some good points. Okay. Good points. Now, time to hammer them on home. Let's give the people our last 2 thought trains, our last 2 major points. Let them decide what we're going to do. I'll go first, NBA. I just personally think the NBA is just, I'll go accessibility. Well, I'll just use that keyword. Accessibility on all fronts. It's easier, I think, to watch and get into because there's more games. So there's more, it's on more often throughout the year versus you just have the one day of football. Well, now football's 3 days. Excuse me. 4 days towards the end of the year. But I think basketball is easier to play, easier to watch, easier to pick up on, easier to follow, easier to have on, where somebody that might not like sports will actually like it, because a lot of fucking people hate football and don't want it on the TV. So I'll go accessibility on that front. And two, for me, the NBA is just, it's better because of the nostalgia factor. And I think that's going to hit home for a lot of people. There's a lot of things in basketball that people can attest to, regardless of being the NBA and all that, which we're not going to go there because we're doing NBA, NFL. But for me, obviously, you have the Bulls. But just to think about what people think the Suns are going to do this year out here, what Boston did back in the 70s, what LA did with Kobe and that legacy and all that. That's probably a better word I should have used, but I'm going to stick with my gut and go with the original one. But I think basketball brings a lot of good feelings back for a lot of people. Even if you're a bad team, there's still something good you can come out of that. There's not a lot of good you can get from a Lions fan outside of probably this last season.
I mean, yeah, if you want, I'm not a Lions fan, so
no, I'm just saying.
So I'm not going to argue against that point, but that doesn't reflect on the whole of the NFL for me. And first thing would just be when you watch the NFL, you're looking forward to that Super Bowl. You're largely looking forward to that Super Bowl, even if you know for a fact your team's not going to make it. Versus NBA, commonly, people might lightly look forward to the finals and the championship game, but if they don't think or know for a fact that their team's not making it, they could usually care less.
I'll give you that. Nobody watches the NBA finals outside of hardcore fans and people whose city happens to be in it. The Super Bowl is a thing for everyone, even people that don't watch football. Touche. That's a good one. We'll give you that one.
And
numero dos.
It's America's sport, baby.
Ay, Dios mío. This guy cop-out city today.
Ain't no cop-out. It is what it is. There's a reason why.
Team. It's not America's sport. It's baseball's America's pastime. But
America's pastime.
Pastime. But there is talk.
But when someone's truly talking
Cowboys,
about things that represent America, football is what's mentioned.
Well, you, sir, are correct about that. At least the one saving grace I have is that when it comes to these things that we're talking about, at least for the love of God, my city outshines your city in terms of these things. Because you might have too recently, but outside of that, there's a whole lot of involved with New York City football. And them Chicago Bulls, baby, are the talk of the town.
Okay, hold on. Chicago Bulls got the Knicks. Can't argue against it.
Yeah, and the Jets and the Giants.
Fuck the Jets. No, you can't. No, we're talking about NBA. Bulls and got NFL. The Knicks.
Yeah, okay.
NFL Giants got the Bears.
I think that's hard. I think
you just said it yourself,
sir.
We have some of.
You do. No one in Chicago has stopped talking about the '85 Bears since '85.
Chicago. The conversation about the Giants winning.
Who has the
conversation about the Giants winning still?
Who has the SNL sketch? Not the Giants. It's the Bears. The Bears.
Did you just reference SNL?
The Bears. That's the famous skit for the Bears.
Okay.
The Bears.
A comedy show?
The Bears are
satire.
Bro, you know the Bears are one of the oldest franchises in all of football. They're one of the original 6. I think it's 6.
That's fine. That's fine.
The Bears.
It's fine.
Hey.
But I mean, what's a goon to a goblin? I mean, the Giants are always going to be bigger and better, baby.
You know what I got to say to New York? Fuck you. Sears Tower all day, baby. Fuck.
It's the Empire State.
The Empire State of Mind, where I can't find parking and I just gotta walk everywhere.
The Empire State, ass. Where liberty lives.
This is okay. The Windy City, bitch, and it's not because of the wind. but that is also a factor.
You know what I feel like right now?
I feel like smacking you on behalf of my city.
I feel like New York versus Chicago's bitch ass. Fuck with me, dog. Bing bong.
Fuck your life. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, you know what to do. Leave your comments below. Let him know that I'm better and I win, and that Chicago's gonna dominate that fucking next video. First of all,
that boy. Oh, I'm talking about. Yo, peep game.
You bumba clot.
Share. Fight in the comments. Fucking fight. NFL all fucking day.
Basketball, baby. I'm playing basketball.
New York all day. We're gonna get this popping.
Basketball.
Follow, like, comment, subscribe. All the stats are going to be in the description. All our socials and shit. And we see you in a minute.
Yeah, fuck New York.